All right, everybody, it's past 7:30. Mr. Hartley, our legal counsel, is finally here, so we can get started. Welcome to the July City Council meeting. I had to think about that very carefully because I was about to forget what month we were in. But thank y'all for being here. I hope you had a great 4th of July weekend and week. We obviously did not have a work session. I don't think the agenda tonight will take very long, other than maybe some additional reports and comments, updates, and that may take us a little bit longer than we would normally do during a city council meeting. So, if you could, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then remain standing. And Mr. Rosal is going to do the blessing of the meeting.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for
Thank you, Mr. Rosal. All right, next we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion from Mr. Cohen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Thatcher. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please raise your right hand. Very good. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. We have minutes for the work session on June 5th and for the city council meeting on June 12th. Is there a motion to adopt the meeting minutes? I have a motion from Mr. Hicks. Is there a second?
second.
Second from Mr. Rosal. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your right hand. Very good. We have no awards, presentations, or proclamations, but I know that we do have some reports. Mr. Hartley, our city attorney, is up first.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report for open session.
Okay. Next, we'll move on to city council reports, and I'll start with Mr. Hicks.
Thank you, Mayor. First, wanted to start off, I know we will not have a youth council comments today, but wanted to start off with a partnership that the youth council is doing with the Mission Georgia organization, where they are supporting the Gwinnett County foster kids. And what they're asking for is any school supplies related to any age group, any grade level, to be provided, so that way that they can support and provide these items to kids that are within the foster system through this program. And there's a list of items that is being disseminated that I would be happy to share, but it's on the Youth Council's Instagram page as well. I know this is something that's really near and dear to Councilmember Rosal's, and so I'm quite sure he will touch on this as well. The deadline for those items is this upcoming Friday, which is the 14th. In addition to that, the North Gwinnett Co-op is also doing their yearly backpack drive, where they are also in the middle of collecting backpacks that will be provided to local kids, families that are in need of backpacks and school supplies as well. The backpacks actually come fully stocked. They do an amazing job of vetting the families and the needs for these backpacks. And, it's really specific to schools like Beaufort, for example, that require see-through backpacks. They're really specific with providing the needs for each individual family. So that is another great opportunity to be able to give back to the community. Speaking of, the start of school will be August the 2nd. Can we believe the summer is almost over for the kids? But again, these are just some of the opportunities to be able to provide for these kids to be able to go back to school and get off to a great start. I know the other council members will touch on this, so I'll be really brief. There was various events that took place throughout the city. I had the opportunity of attending Sparks in the Park, which was a great event for my family and I. I have to applaud the Parks and Rec Department, the Marketing and Communication Department, as well as all of the city staff for an amazing job that was performed out there. Great representation. They did not allow the rain to stop them from putting on a great show, so applause. And I had to make sure that I went specifically to thank them for a great show. So great job, Andy and team for that. There was a lot of shows that was actually done, and I'm quite sure that Councilmember Cohen will touch on the concerts. One specifically that I actually had the opportunity to attend was this past Friday. Was I think I've officially become a Swiftie, and Chase and Victoria invited me to come out to the listening party for Taylor Swift that I did not know what to expect. I don't think I've ever listened to a Taylor Swift song before, but I've had the opportunity to listen to 2 hours worth of it. And so, but I was surprised with the amount of people that was out there, and they absolutely enjoyed themselves. It was great to really see the, again, when you may hear me speak about whether it's through the Envision 100 or whether it's through our growth as a city, you will always probably hear me say, you may use the word diversity. And again, I use that word in so many terms. And this past Friday was a great example of that, because there was a range of people from little girls that was toddlers all the way up to moms and women that was out there by themselves. So that was a really great mix of what is right here in our community and what our community was able to provide for that group of individuals that was specific to the Swifties. And so I honestly, someone asked me about it today, and I said I wouldn't have stayed the entire time. I think it ended at 10 o'clock. I stayed all the way to 10 o'clock. Actually, I wasn't expecting that, but I actually really enjoyed it. And it was such a great job well done. I don't think I will be, still buying into Taylor Swift albums, but definitely it was a great opportunity. So great job to them on that. Actually, that concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. I actually have a picture of you in some sunglasses. Oh, man. So a lot of us have seen that. But great report. Mr. Rosal, would you like to give a report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Hicks. I'll start by kind of echoing the project with our youth council. It's really neat to see local youth helping out local youth. And when Councilmember Hicks shared with our team about this particular event, it's crazy. Even as a foster family, there are some of these organizations that we haven't run into and we're unaware of and that sort of thing. And I think it's a big opportunity, in the community to help elevate these local opportunities. So I looked it up while he was actually doing his report, and according to Google, there's 686 students right now in foster care in Gwinnett County. And this is specific to helping them make sure they've got a good start to school, they've got the supplies that they need to make sure that's not something that they're worrying about with all the other challenges that all of us who are sitting here, went through with school, trying to make friends, trying to get plugged in, learn the curriculum, understand the what's being communicated, that sort of thing. Kind of taking that off their plate is a neat opportunity. And I love seeing the youth council lead there. So thank you for highlighting that. And again, the deadline is July 14th. Feel free to come up to either myself or Councilmember Hicks afterwards. We can give you the supply list. And in today's day and age, it's so easy. Our family did it with, like a Target pickup. You just click it online and drive up and pick it up, and they're, taken care of. So really low barrier to entry to get involved. I wanted to echo just the gratitude for Sparks in the Park. we do a lot of events as a community that are, free community events that we have, different people from in and out of the community come to. But Sparks in the Park is really a showcase, I think kind of a proof of concept for the spirit of Sugar Hill. And we really have enjoyed being a part of it and watching that grow year over year. It was great to see the marshals out there as well, helping make sure that everyone stayed safe and had a good time. And we can't control the rain, but it was great seeing the concert continued in the rain, and then the fireworks, and we still got to see a good fireworks show. So really enjoyed that. I wanted to congratulate, we've got 2 new downtown businesses that have opened up this past month. The Rooftop and Talk at the Table are both open for business now, and it's exciting to see. I've had the opportunity to speak to those owners and just see their excitement for being part of our community and bringing something different to the downtown. I wanted to highlight a few free events kind of taking place this next month as we're marking our calendars and planning ahead. You hear me talk a lot about Splash Night. The rain interfered last time, but fingers crossed, July 28th, we'll have a great splash night with face painting, bounce houses, live music, and hopefully, I don't want to put the team on the spot, but we typically do a movie at sundown as well. We've also got if you haven't visited, please check out the art gallery or the history museum, kind of diagonally across the street here. Always great content that they're putting out and activating those spaces to learn more about our local area and the history, but then also showcase local artists and bring something new and unique to our community. And then last but not least, if you haven't already, please take the time to complete the Envision 100 survey to provide ideas and feedback. It's really important that we try to get as much of the community involved in this as we work together as a community to shape the future of Sugar Hill. So just wanted to put a plug on that. And if you have questions about that, feel free to come up afterwards. Happy to answer those. So that's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rosal. And next, Mr. Anderson, if you have a report.
Just a very brief report, Mayor, as your Riverlands Authority designee from council on that authority. We met last month and went over our training that we completed in May, I believe it was May. And this month we've got a really exciting presenter. Walt Ray from the Trust for Public Lands is going to be there talking about their involvement with the Chattahoochee Riverlands projects. So he will be presenting to the Riverlands Authority. So we're excited to hear from Walt and what his group does as the Riverlands Authority gets its feet under it and starts to gain traction and starts meeting those folks as we build those partnerships out. So we've got that and several other meetings this week related to really kind of spinning that up and getting that going. So that's all I've got for you, other than to say thank you also to our wonderful city staff for Sparks in the Park. But also, this is a tough time of year for our street department. It's the hot weather. They are out there every day picking up yard debris, chipping. They do a fantastic job. I know during COVID we had, it was such a challenge, but these guys work so hard and they do such a great job for our community. So I know July and August are particularly tough months for them, given the weather situation. So appreciate them. See them out there all the time working very hard. And I see them stop and talk to folks. There's a lot of conversations that are had with our citizens by our streets department, and I always see a lot of smiles, a lot of thank yous. So I appreciate the street department, and we don't get to recognize them as much as we should. And I saw one of them talking to an elderly neighbor the other day, kind of just helping her out and then explaining some things to her, and she was very grateful for that. So anyway, kudos to our streets department. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Cohen.
Thank you.
Next.
Again, I'm going to echo congratulations to the events team. We've had some incredible events lately, and I know that Brandon may talk about one of them that he had a chance to go to. Last night we had a sold-out concert for Air Supply. And people look at me and go, Air Supply? I graduated high school in 1982. Air Supply was the #1 on the Billboard charts in 1982. And these guys got to be 75 plus years old, and they sounded fantastic. And the sold-out event, the venue, people were on their feet, dancing, they were singing, and everybody knows every word to every song. And if they didn't, they were learning really quickly. So I really appreciate it, and I know we had a couple of hiccups on the back end, but all in all, nobody remembers those. It was a great event. People have been talking about it, a lot of social media presence, a lot of discussion. Thank you. We enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next concert, which is Saturday, Melissa Etheridge, and that'll be out in the Bowl. So keep watching the calendars for that. Despite the pop-up showers, Sparks in the Park went off without a hitch. I mean, we were out there, we were picnicking, we spent probably 5-6 hours out at the park with the neighbors, people running around, kids running around, people catching up. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it rained, we had some downpours, but it stopped about 6 minutes into the fireworks. Once that happened, gorgeous, gorgeous fireworks show. So thank you for that. Our city marshals, we talked a lot about them. They continue their partnership with GCPD. We've got Chief King and Major Raffinelli back there from GCPD. And they've been splitting their time between community policing, handling business and resident public safety issues, patrolling the parks, residential areas, and points all in between. But they've also been working with the schools, students, and community groups in a public relations role. So when you see the marshals have a public safety hat, and they have a public relations hat. Sometimes the public relations hat gets a little bit more airplay, and I want people to be aware that they are actually out there driving through subdivisions, driving through neighborhoods, working hand in hand with GCPD, doing all those things that we need them to be doing. So thank you guys for that. Arts Commission, we're looking for members. We're always looking for members if you have an interest in the arts. We had our commission meeting earlier today, so you are welcome to come out to our meeting next month. We're looking for community t-shirt designs. We're going to do t-shirts for Sugar Rush, the Arts Festival, which is October 21st, 22nd. So if you have an artistic bent and you want to kind of draw something out, if you're chosen, we'll turn it into a silk screen and we'll make t-shirts for you. And finally, this one's a little longer. In February, as a body, we unanimously agreed to pass a resolution to become a city of civility. And civility is one of those things that's it's more than just being polite. It's sharing with others. It's listening to all opposing, differing opinions. It's the interaction we have amongst ourselves, with the staff, with the community has with us. So it isn't just a one-way street. And it's hard work. It's something people have to work at. And, not everybody's going to agree with everything everyone comes up with, so civility is a core component. And we had the pleasure of being named a certified city of civility along with 77 other cities in the state of Georgia last month at the GMA conference. And we were given this beautiful plaque, which will be prominently displayed in City Hall here. So I thank all of you for the commitment. I thank all of you in the community for supporting this and for trying to live up to what civility means. And I know it's not always an easy thing to do, especially in times of social media seems to govern everything. So continue to offer your opinions, do it in a civil, polite manner, and we'll make the promise that we'll listen and that we will not push back. So if you want to say something, please feel free to do so, but understand we're trying to be as civil to you as we'd like you guys to be to us, and we need to be civil amongst ourselves. Luckily, we don't have any strife, so that's a good thing. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Ms. Thatcher.
So, Mr. Mayor, I don't really have a report this month because I've been on vacation, but I hate it that I had to miss Sparks in the Park. It's one of my very favorite things, and I live sort of vicariously through all of the social media posts. It has been a very active month in the city, and the events team has really shined brightly this month. And we'll continue to do so throughout the rest of the summer with our concert series and all of the events that we're having behind us in the plaza and then on the promenade. So I am just, it just makes me happy to see all of the stuff that's going on in the city and so much participation from the community. Makes me proud to be here and to be able to serve and to be a part of it. So no official report, but it's nice to see all of the good work that's going on.
Thank you, Ms. Thatcher. That was a good report. Next, I think it's my report, and I do have a PowerPoint presentation, as I usually do. And again, just want to highlight some activities and some individuals that were involved and that did a great job this past month for us. We were able to attend a grand opening in our industrial area. Delaney is a company that manufactures door fixtures, locks, and various other high-end items that go into new homes. And we had the opportunity to tour their new facility. It's a warehouse over off of Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. Very modern, very beautiful actually on the inside, in the outside. They hope to employ up to 80 individuals in our community, and they currently have some job postings that are available locally on their website. And so if you're in the audience and you have someone that's looking for a good paying job, I would encourage you to visit the Delaney website. And we've got some future activities planned with them. They want to be involved in the community, and they want to support our schools and do various other community-oriented activities, and we're going to work with them and obviously take advantage of that because we need that here in Sugar Hill. Next slide, please. Here's just some pictures of the Talk at the Table grand opening that Mr. Rosel talked about. We were able to do that last week. It's much welcome. They've been talking about opening for a while. And just a very brief description of their business model. They are wine experts. They source from local producers all over the world. And so one of the things that you're going to find if you go there is that you're going to be able to buy inexpensive bottles of wine from other countries, which I think is a neat experience. They also serve wine at the store, as well as charcuterie boards and cheese. And so you can dine there and just meet with your neighbors. I think it's going to be a great addition to our downtown area. That picture on the side there is a picture of us with one of the owners. There's several owners that are investors in that business. And they, by the way, started in Cumming, and that was their first location. And they chose Sugar Hill, and we're very excited to come here. Very eager to be in our downtown area. Next slide, Mr. Awana. Here's just a couple pictures that I wanted to give highlighting our Juneteenth celebration. I think this is the fourth year that we've done it here in Sugar Hill in partnership with the Black Women's Association of Sugar Hill. We always have a great turnout for this event. It's one of my favorite events because it's so family-oriented and so family-focused. And you can see a picture of some of the participants dancing. They just have a great time. They also have vendors that are at the Juneteenth celebration. I happen to have the opportunity to do a wings judging contest with our youth mayor, Riley Christie, and we just had a great time, and it's always good to spend time with her as well. Next slide. Here's just a couple more pictures. Mr. Hicks had the opportunity to speak to the crowd, and I was able to be up there with him and just proud to be up there with them. And then, of course, here's some of the kids that were just dancing and having a good time, including Jace's son, Mr. Hicks's son, Jace. And you can see him. He seems to be having the most fun of anybody in that picture. Next slide, please. Here's something that I just wanted to talk about and highlight because I think this is going to be a great program in our community. Dr. Bobby Guay, who is a former school counselor at Lanier High School, has started a mentor program, and it's going to take place at Lanier Middle School. They have picked 24 young men that are just having some challenges that just need a little extra help, and they're going to be mentored over the next couple of years. And in addition to that, their parents are going to be given some coaching so that they can be active in the lives of their children. And I want to thank Mr. Hicks for his involvement in that. There are many others in the community that are involved, including Sugar Hill Church and our elementary schools. Everybody has contributed resources, people, brains, finances to make this a possibility. This was their first orientation before school. And then, of course, we will have the first activity for them coming up in August, and I think it's going to be a great program that's good for the youth in our community, and obviously it will be expandable over time. And again, thank you to Mr. Hicks for being involved in that. I wanted to highlight just a local business in our downtown that has done some extraordinary 5Ks over the last several months. I happened to have the opportunity to run in two. I did not get the chance to run in this one, but this was the Made in the USA 5K. This is a tradition of theirs that they've done for several years. And this year they had over 500 individuals from our community that showed out to run in that 5K. And part of the funds that they raised will go towards first responders and veterans that are in need of financial help. And so, great event. They have a moonshine run coming up in the fall, which I think will end up being their signature 5K, and I'm very excited about that, and I think I'm going to try to run in it, actually. Next slide. One of the things that I'm very proud of, in addition to our partnership with our schools here in Sugar Hill, is the great partnership that we have with all of our churches. And so Sugar Hill Church reached out to us, and they wanted to do a field trip at Goldmine Park so that we could have a little bit of fun together, but we could also talk about a shared vision that we have for serving the community. This represents their entire employee team, almost 30 individuals, some that may not be in the picture, but we had a great day. We panned for gold in Level Creek. We did a tour of the gold mine at Goldmine Park, and then, of course, we had a chance to picnic together and, again, to vision together. And I'm just very thankful for this church and all that they do in our community. I'm also thankful for Gwinnett Church, Church on the Hill, the Korean Methodist Church, and all of the churches in our community that have partnered with us on helping out the community, but also giving us a parking lot for the Greenway and many other different things. And so we've got a great faith-based community here in Sugar Hill. Next slide. And here's just another picture of us getting ready to pan for gold down at Level Creek, and that is the kind of the iconic bridge for the Sugar Hill Greenway that runs over Level Creek. Wanted to talk a little bit about some of the concerts that we've had. Some of the council members have mentioned the one or two, but we also had a great jazz band performance in the Eagle Theater. They were 20 seats short of selling out, which is outstanding. And this is our Broad Street Band that pulled this together. The Broad Street Jazz Band is under the umbrella of the Broad Street Band, but they are doing amazing things in our community, and they had a great night. They've got plans for other jazz concerts in the Eagle Theater in the future, including a Toys for Tots fundraiser in November. And they did it last year, and they raised a lot of money, and they collected a lot of toys. And again, they're just doing great things in our community. And here's just a couple of pictures from that night. Next slide. And here are some pictures of the concert that we had last night, Air Supply, which was absolutely amazing, but also some photos from the Tea Party, the Taylor Swift party that we had out in the bowl. And you can tell it had rained, but we still had a very good turnout. Next slide, please. And then lastly, just a couple of pictures from Sparks in the Park. It was an amazing show despite the rain. And as you can see, the fireworks were just as beautiful as they have been in the past years. And I think that's the last slide. Nobody slipped in that picture of Mr. Hicks with his Swifty glasses on, thank goodness. All right.
We haven't published the newsletter yet.
Thank y'all for indulging me in that, and thank y'all for your hard work this past month, and thank you to the staff team, the event staff, for all that they did this past month as well. Next, City Clerk, Ms. Whittington.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick reminders, the city issues of passports in the customer service area. Last month, for June, they issued 172 passports and 176 photos for the passports. They issued 14 new business licenses, which included the Talk of the Table and the Rooftop, but it also included 5 home-based businesses, and the rest were in the commercial area. We had legal services, cleaning services, interior decorators, a new medical service company, and a manufacturer, to just name a few that opened last month. Also, I want to remind everyone that the job openings in the city that are available, they are also on our website, as well as application and instructions on how to forward them and apply for a job with the city. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Whittington. Next, Mr. Radford for the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to have a number of our directors come up and update us on things, but I want to start off with Kaipo. As you know, he has been leading our effort over the last few months. He and his planning staff and hard at work getting the Envision 100 comprehensive plan update off the ground. The months of July and August will be very, very busy months for he and his staff as we begin the public involvement campaign. And we embark on this endeavor. I've asked Kaipo to give a presentation highlighting what's been done so far and what we can expect next, because as you all have eloquently stated, this is an opportunity for everybody to get involved and help shape the vision of the city as we move towards our 100th anniversary. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kaipo.
Envision 100, so where we're looking to our 100th birthday as we prepare an updated comprehensive plan. This is required to be updated every 5 years for us to be eligible for funding and permitting and other programs administered by the state of Georgia. But ultimately, we plan because it's important to the long-term prosperity and stability of our community. In fact, you value planning process quite a bit. We typically conduct a major planning study, at least one major planning study every year, usually related to housing, mobility, or economic development. This time around, our process is organized into 6 phases. We've been working really hard to connect with the community through public involvement and data gathering over the last couple of months. But next, we'll start harmonizing that data with the community points of view through facilitated conversations. We'll validate those findings through those conversations and collaborate to imagine our community in 2039 and beyond, so that together we can aspire to a fresh vision and plan out the necessary investments toward a chosen future for Sugar Hill. So currently we are still in the connect and gather phases, where we're doing a lot of research, looking at current trends, updating our demographic data and market data, while we're connecting through in-person and digital outreach. We have an English and Spanish version of the project website. We sent out a steady stream of promotional content through our existing subscribers for the Sugar Hill Snapshot, eBlast, and social media. We've also placed postcards out at various businesses throughout the community. And our team has held various pop-up events and placed yard signs in strategic locations across the city just to round out the outreach. This is just a summary of some of the numbers of the reach of those efforts. The eBlast and social media are the largest numbers that we can connect with through those channels. We actually get a lot of response from the email subscribers that are specifically looking for information to connect and be involved with the city. But also coming up, we'll be working with our contacts with Gwinnett Daily Post to advertise the initiative, just to further kind of round out that awareness campaign. To look for promotional content in the July newsletter. And those are going out with the gas bills, I think, this month too. Additional social media posts as we kind of near the end point of the survey. We'll also have some roadside banners that we're working on putting up on Highway 20 and on Tucker Boulevard. Those get a lot of through traffic, but a lot of local neighbors use those thoroughfares as well. We've also coordinated announcements through local churches. So we've got a slide for them to push up on their walk-in on the screen, and then some participation to actually talk about it from the stage as well. When we first started talking about this plan update, you asked us to pursue broad participation and encourage input from every corner of the community. I think certainly we can always do better as we strive to connect as much as possible, but I think we've done good work promoting awareness of the plan update and inviting the entire community to be involved. Here's a look at our current timeline. The survey, when it closes on August 10th, will have been open for a full 3 months. We've got our first public hearing scheduled for next week. There's not a lot to gather feedback on at this point, but this is designed to kind of officially announce and introduce the project to the community and collect feedback on specifically how thorough the public involvement program is. So if there's any gaps, we have a little bit of time to respond to suggestions on how to connect or venues to meet at or other ways to facilitate connecting with others in the community who don't typically engage. So up next, we have our community roundtable small group meetings, and followed by, that's these list of meetings here, and followed by open houses toward the end of August and early September. Our plan is to kind of spread those out, make those convenient for as many residents and business people and Greater Sugar Hill constituents to come and participate in the process and become involved in the conversation. There will be other opportunities to learn about and weigh in the other elements of the actual plan, though, once we get to those events and the second public hearing, which we'll present in October. The first draft version of the plan is anticipated to be presented in October. We haven't actually begun writing it yet. So with those roundtables, and I'll get that out of the way. We've put together a robust calendar of these meetings, and these are arranged around the scheduling needs and preferences of the community. Again, these are small groups, facilitate dialogue among neighbors, kind of foster wider awareness and deeper understanding of green space, mobility, and housing issues. After we wrap up the survey and the roundtables, we'll be ready to begin kind of the full analysis, taking all those data points and trying to humanize the data, try to make it relatable with a variety of neighborhoods and the diversity of citizens in the community. And then our plan is to present kind of all that research, a summary of the involvement up to date at the open houses, to continue to facilitate conversation as we put all that together, the analysis and the communications, and start to begin to develop the plan toward the beginning of September. I think I had more to say about this one. So during these, the open houses are going to be drop-in style open house meetings, so we'll present all the information. We'll begin also talking about the future scenarios, start talking about common goals that we can all strive towards. And then, again, we'll present the plan for public comment in October, aiming towards submitting the final version to the DCA in November or December. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Redford. Are there any other questions of Mr. Awana? Yes, Mr. Rosal.
I think you covered, but I just want to be clear. I really appreciate the thorough communication approach that we're taking, but I just wanted to understand, in July, we're going to be pushing it out in the paper newsletters for the gas customers, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, you are relieved of duty. Thank you. Mr. Radford?
Thank you, Kaipo. And I've got a few more. I asked Troy to give us an operations and construction update, but let me extend my thanks to Councilman Anderson for his comment and y'all's comments over the period of time about those folks that are out in the hot weather picking up yard debris and chipping and mowing public right-of-way and medians that are, once again, state highways or county roads, but we're out there doing it because we are all prideful and proud of our community. And I also want to thank our recreation staff for the fabulous job they're doing keeping our parks looking great, the Greenway as well as the golf course. So, but with that, I'll turn it over to Troy.
Thank you, Mr. Radford. I wanted to highlight one other item that we don't talk about very much as it relates to downtown, and that has to do with the sweet spot. I think we heard from the city clerk about new business licenses that she's issued. One of the things about the old City Hall building that we've taken advantage of is find a way to help businesses get off the ground and to get out of their home base status into a permanent location. So it's a great way to do that, and we focus a lot of that attention at the DDA meetings, but I just wanted to mention that we've been very successful with that since we transitioned from its old use as a city hall to a business incubator. So we are currently full, our offices are full, and then we've got 35 members have a waiting list until January of 2024. Also wanted to highlight the fact that Holbrook Assisted Living has, or is going to be celebrating their 1-year anniversary on July 27th, and that's from 2 to 4 p.m. And then we've also opened the Solus project behind us. I will update one other item on Solus, which is that we are working through a couple of punch items on the parking deck, but we hope to finish that up this week and be able to make a very big announcement about some parking availability and official capacity later this week, which will time appropriately to our big concert this weekend. We've been monitoring its completion over the last month or so, and they're still using it for laydown and construction staging prep work. So we're kind of keeping an eye on that before we made the announcement. I want to highlight a few other construction projects that we are including in the construction update in the report, and that has to do with what we're calling the Landing project, which is at the end of the bowl. The paving for that project is complete, and we're working as quickly as we can to finish that up in July. And then we'll be transitioning to some road project at that end of the downtown campus with the Alton Tucker Boulevard realignment. Ridge Lake Park is also heading very quickly to the finish line. We have finished construction of the dam for the lower pond that we highlighted a few meetings ago. And then we also have the restroom and pavilion, picnic pavilion building dried in. One of the last things that we were working on is the septic field construction that will be associated with the dog park location there. And then we'll be moving quickly to finish that project up. They also were working last week on the decel lane for the entrance. So we do hope to have that wrapped up and back open and not have to impact travel in that direction on Highway 20 any longer. One of the other important projects for 2023 was the LMIG resurfacing program. We do have a few other roads on the list to be completed, and they are highlighted in the report as well, but we are holding off on those until we get a little bit further along on the construction in the downtown. Those were West Broad Street, Church Street, and Alton Tucker Boulevard, a portion of that. And then also the cemetery driveways were part of that project scope. One of the things that we have asked the contractor to look at is paving West Broad Street during off-peak hours. And just because of the temperatures associated with this time of year, we may be extending those off-peak hours into the evening. Two other infrastructure projects I wanted to mention that are county initiated and managed are the Level Creek Sewer Project that is wrapping up. Some of that activity was focused on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard at Pinecrest and extending down to Level Creek and then on to Whitehead Road. So we do expect that to wrap up with a few other punch items this month. And then over the next couple of months, they'll probably finishing some tie-ins to the sewer pump stations associated with that one. And then another one that has just gotten off the ground is the water main upgrade project. This is the second phase of that work in Frontier Forest. I believe there's some signs up with information about it for the public to access more information about what's going on in the neighborhood. But that is probably going to be a 9-month project, unfortunately, so we'll see how quickly they can progress. And we learned a lot through that first phase of construction, so pass those lessons learned on to the county, and hopefully this is much quicker and more efficient.
Thank you, Troy. And Andy, if you'd come up and obviously those accolades are well deserved for your staff at Sparks. You've been doing it for a long, long time, and it comes off normally without a hitch. So congratulations.
Thank you. It couldn't have been done. We'll just start there. You know, another huge success. Thank you all for participating, those that were here. The crowd seemed to be actually a little bit lighter this year, but I'm going to guess that was weather-related crowds and not just because they didn't want to be there. The music was great. Thanks to the event staff for helping us set up the music for this event. And although it rained and hit us late, as was mentioned, the fireworks went off without a hitch, other than maybe a little bit of clouds or some smoke from the debris itself. I want to thank all the departments that had a hand in it, especially the Marshals Department that were there this year, a lot more presence. And of course, the Gwinnett PD was the first time we've used them in a long time. All your PD and your staff did fabulous. The traffic flow at the end of the evening went very smooth. So thank you to them. The golf course had another strong performance in June, although we aerified the greens as we do annually, and sometimes that drops off play. Play was not dropped much, if any, and they're growing in great and should have a great July, August, and September. So looking forward to that. Several tee boxes and fairways that were very bare due to cold weather in the winter and then also lack of some water and heat in the summer. We needed to redo, so several tee boxes and fairway areas were resodded over the last couple of weeks and are finishing their growing. Our park updates are downtown campus. If you've noticed, we've added color throughout the downtown, landscape and hardscape areas. New vibrant colors can be seen in front of City Hall, at the roundabout, and other areas throughout the downtown landscape. That will continue with seasonal plantings and hopefully adding more areas throughout the downtown campus and downtown district throughout the years. New plants were added around all the city monuments on PIB and Highway 20. I think that those have turned out really well, and hopefully with Grow In, those will look really nice for our entrance signs. New banners were installed on all of our 3 gateway downtown signs. They were looking pretty rowdy and took a little bit of time to get into the works, but once they're up, they look really good and clean right now on our gateway sign. The splash pad is working great. It's been busy constantly. We're closed a couple of days this week early because we do have some electrical work coming in. Some lights have been replaced and electrical work for the lighting system has been repaired. Today and tomorrow we're supposed to be closed. We could possibly open tomorrow afternoon. If not, we'll be back open on Wednesday. Greenway and Gold Mine Park are being monitored and maintained weekly. My opinion is it's looking really good, and staff is doing a great job of keeping it clear for our walkers and our runners and our bikers on a weekly basis. And to finish up, our community garden at Austin Garner Road is looking fantastic. It's been an incredible growing season for our gardeners. Lots and lots of families are creating traditions, getting their own produce, fruits and flowers grown, learning, teaching young ones how to do that, as well as the volunteers that pick up and deliver fresh produce and other canned goods to our co-op on a monthly basis. The garden is doing great again this year. That ends my report. Thank you, guys. And unless you have any questions, I will have a seat.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
And Diane, I know that Councilmember Cohen did a great job on your report. Do you have anything to add to that? And we do appreciate his leadership on the Gwinnett Police Academy. Is the Police Advisory Board, and in his relationship with our staff in the Marshal's office and with the Gwinnett PD. What we're doing, I think, is pretty special. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for Gwinnett PD. And Avery, I know you're probably tired from several weeks of events, but I think if you could come up and give us an update on what we can see coming down the road, I would appreciate that. And then Chase would be coming up tonight, but Chase is not feeling well, so we sent her home. Hopefully she can get better. But Chase has been doing a fabulous job working with our downtown businesses and working with our staff and executing downtown events. So, Avery?
Hello. So in June, we kicked off the Bowl Concert Series with the Chris Jansen concert. We also hosted several music at Sugar Hills on the Promenade. We had free yoga in the Bowl, and we worked with the Black Women's Association for their annual Juneteenth celebration. The Eagle Theater had a couple of rentals where local dance studios were wrapping up their end-of-the-year performances. And then the Children's Theater hosted their first of 2 summer camps in the theater with performances of Peter Pan and Mean Girls. Broad Street Concert Band held their free concert at the Movies on June the 6th, and the jazz band opened for Joe Granston and his big band on June 30th. Additionally, we were able to announce in June the 2 of our 5 Eagle shows coming up. So we announced the Corinne Bailey Ray concert. She is bringing her Black Rainbows tour in through Sugar Hill on September 22nd. And then we also were able to announce the Air Supply concert, which took place yesterday. This Saturday is the Melissa Etheridge concert in the Bowl. July 6th was the Firsty Thursday, which we coordinated with Chase and Victoria and their team to make that event possible. Let's see. We have more music at Sugar Hills this month. We are anticipating being able to hold our splash night at the end of the month, and we are hoping to announce the remainder of the Eagle season soon. We have a couple more rentals in the space this month, and the Children's Theater is doing their second and final of 2 summer camps. They moved in today, and they will do the performance of Alice in Wonderland on the 21st. Looking ahead to August, we've got the Beach Boys on August 13th and Switchfoot on August 25th. Both of those shows are currently sold out. And then towards the end of August, the Players Guild will be preparing for the opening of their 2023-2024 season with Steel Magnolias on September 1st.
And Avery, if you could speak to the Welcome All with the Children's Theater. I think if somebody wants to participate, they don't turn anybody away.
They do not. So they have a lot of different opportunities. Unfortunately for this year, their camps are currently sold out, but they strive very hard to make it where everyone can participate in theater. That is a mission and a goal of theirs, so.
And then we have a premiere movie in the theater
Yes.
on the 24th.
That is one of our rentals this month. One of our staff, Hattie, has starred in an indie film called Kidnapped, and it is doing its premiere at the very end of July on a Monday, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you to all of our managers and staff, and thank Victoria, and thank Cindy for keeping all of our finances straight. But we're blessed with a great staff and a very creative staff, and a staff that just really enjoys what they do, and I think it shows in their presentation. With that, I conclude my report.
Thank you, Mr. Radford. Next, we'll move on to citizens and guest comments, and if there's a member of the audience that has something that they would like to comment on related to the city, they have up to 3 minutes, and I'll recognize anyone that would like to make public comment. Yes, ma'am. And if you don't mind, just give your name and address, and we know your name, obviously, but that's a good thing.
My name is Wansley Suddeth, and I live at 1310 Hidden Circle in Sugar Hill. And I want to make a comment about what you said a few minutes ago. The letter that we received about the water main being put in is 16 months. So if they're telling you 9 months, they're not telling us that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, because we received, I think everybody, I don't know, you didn't because you live on the other side, but everybody in my neighborhood received the same letter, and it says 16 months. So they were in there today. They're starting today. So I'm counting down. Just want to, because it's going to be a mess, I'm going to tell you. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. Anybody else? All right, we're going to move on. Close citizens and guest comments. We have no consent agenda. We have no old business. We have several new business items. I will recognize Mr. Awana for a right-of-way acceptance for Brentford Station. Mr. Awana.
Snuck up on me. So this is a request for the acceptance of right-of-way and associated public improvements in the Brentford Station subdivision. This is a 29-lot neighborhood across from Roberts Elementary on Beaufort Highway. They've made it all through the warranty period. All the roads have been inspected, and everything's ready to accept into our system for maintenance.
Thank you, Mr. Awana. Are there any questions before I call for a motion? No questions. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to accept and record the right-of-way and acceptance deed for all streets and associated public improvements within the right-of-way for residential subdivision Brentford Station.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Cohen. Any further discussion before I call the vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. All right, Mr. Awana, you're up for item number 2, right-of-way acceptance for Primrose Creek.
Same request for the final phases of development in the Primrose Creek neighborhood off of Sycamore. It's a 325-lot neighborhood all together on 168 acres. Like the previous, they've concluded all their warranty and maintenance requirements, and those facilities are ready to accept into our maintenance system.
Thank you, Mr. Awana. I have a question because I think it might answer a question that others have. We continue to get these requests for Primrose Creek, and it's my understanding that this was approved in the early 2000s, but there have been multiple phases, and so that's why we continue to see these items come to us over time. Is that correct?
That is correct. About a third of the neighborhood was developed before the Great Recession, and then it picked up speed
Got it.
later.
How many homes do you know of, just off the top of your head?
It was 325 altogether.
Okay, good. Thank you. I've been curious because I think I see these every couple years and have for the last 10 years or so. So, all right. Any other questions? All right, is there a motion?
Make a motion to accept and record the right-of-way and deed for the streets associated within the final phases of Primrose Creek, Units 2B, 3, 4, and 5.
Thank you. I have a motion from Ms. Thatcher. Is there a second? Second from Mr. Roswell. Any further discussion before I call the vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Very good. Next, we'll move on to the last item, and that is the call for the 2023 municipal general election. Ms. Whittington, we rarely get to hear from you.
a.m. to 7 p.m. Sorry. Early voting or advanced voting will be held October 16th through November 3rd from 9 to 5. It's also here at City Hall in the History Room. The election itself will be in this room. All the voting will be held within City Hall. As election superintendent, I'm requesting that the mayor and council set the qualifying dates for this election from Monday, August 21st until Wednesday, August 23rd. Qualifying should be held between the hours of 8:30 to 4:30 on those 3 days. It'll be in the office of the city clerk, election superintendent, here at City Hall. The qualifying fee is set in January by state law is $108, and it is due at the time of qualifying. The legal notice of this qualifying will run in the Gwinnett Daily Post at minimum 2 weeks before the qualifying period.
Thank you, Ms. Whittington. Are there any questions? All right, is there a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the 2023 municipal general election set for qualifying for this election will be held to approve the qualifying for this event to be held on Monday, August 21st until Wednesday, August the 23rd between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Cohen. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand.
It's unanimous.
Very good. All right, we are done with the agenda for today. I do know that we have a couple items to discuss in executive session related to real estate and legal matters. Is there a motion to go into executive session for those purposes?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move to executive session to discuss legal, real estate, or personnel matters.
I have a motion from Mr. Rosal. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Thatcher. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right. We're going to go into executive session, and it is my understanding that we will not have any items to take up when we get back, so. We're back from executive session, and we have no action to take outside of executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
A motion from Mr. Rosal. Is there a second? We got a second from Ms. Thatcher. Everybody that's in favor, raise your right hand. All right, we are adjourned.